All right, so I am Kim. If this is our first time chatting together, thank you so much for joining me. I am a business coach for moms, and I am currently running Mom Boss programs as well as a new mastermind, which I'm very excited about to help you really activate your online business, get it not just up and running, but thriving so that you can start making that income goal that you've been hoping to, right? So whether it's, I know a lot of us, I mean, me personally was just hoping to make $1,000 a month in the beginning. And I had no business. I had no product, no service. I started with nothing and I was able to build this business for myself. I left my full-time teaching job and I do this full-time. When I say full-time, I mean 2 days a week. So here we are. And some things I really wanted to talk about tonight. I want to start off by saying that I am an activator and I am also an optimist. I've taken a lot of personality tests recently and I found out that I'm really good at getting people started. And I have an optimism that I guess a lot of people don't. I can see opportunities where a lot of other people don't. And I'm just really excited to share that with you and pour into you in your business. I also can see, like I said, a lot of opportunities, but just a lot of ideas. I have way too many ideas, too many. Lizzie's on this call. She knows I come up with a new idea. I could come up with 6 ideas right now, today, or just in this moment. But if you are struggling, you're feeling stuck, I can help you in that area as well. But some of the things I wanted to talk about was creating online programs and pricing them. And then some people had questions about Instagram growth, which we could get into that a little bit as well. How does that sound? Let me know in the comments. Lizzie's like, yep, she thinks of a lot of different ideas. Okay. All right. Again, any questions? This is your time. You got your pens ready? Your notebooks? All right. Okay. So when it comes to, a lot of people ask me, let's see, Shay asked about creating materials and certifications. Meg asked about creating online programs. All right, so this is a great question because when you have that inspiration inside of you to create something, it's so easy to just start making something with no intention, to start making something without an end goal in mind. I mean, I did this myself personally the first time I felt that burst of, I want to do this. And I created a happiness kit. What is that? Who needs that? I don't even know. What is just it just seems so silly. And I mean, to me, it's still kind of silly. Hi, Lisa. But that was the thing is I just had this desire to create something and I didn't take into account, 1, what problem am I solving? 2, who is this for? Who's having this problem? And 3, what type of steps or procedure am I bringing this person through? So again, that's what is this problem? What problem is this solving? Who has this problem and who needs this solution? And then what was the last thing I said? What is this procedure I'm bringing them through? So with the happiness kit, honestly, it was just a mod podge of here's all of my tips on how to live a happier life. I know, it's really cheesy. I think I sold one for $29. But in the beginning, that was it felt so good to make something. But moving forward, and what I've learned now looking back on that is that I really had to first get clear on who this was for. So later down the road, when I became pregnant with Rosie, it was very easy for me to identify a person in mind, and it was myself. And usually it's a version of yourself that you're creating for, right? So for me, that was my second pregnancy. So I was creating this fit pregnancy program for my old self, for myself when I was pregnant with Ayla. And I knew what I was going through because I was going through it again. But I was, tired all the time. I couldn't get to the gym. I was exhausted. I couldn't work out like I used to. There was all these rules. I had all these pain points and these struggles and these problems that I could now create a solution to or a solution for. So I had my person, it was a pregnant woman. I had the problem I was solving, quick at-home workouts that are pregnancy safe. And then I created a procedure, which was really easy for pregnancy actually, because it's a first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, and then you have a baby. So that was really easy to lay out. In the past, I had also done a different fitness program that I sold, and it was just 25 workouts. There was no system to it. There was no like build up. There was no thought or like planning. It was just like, here's all my stuff. So when you are designing something, you really want to think about the beginning, that pain point, that problem that they're having, and the solution, what they really want ultimately at the end of this. And then what are the steps that's going to get them there? Sometimes it's easier if you work backwards. So like from that end goal, okay, what do I need to do? Like what's one step away from there? Or you can start from the beginning. Like, okay, step one, if you're pregnant and you want to start working out, you could go for a walk or maybe like check with your doctor first. Like think like super, super simple basic steps and then build off of that. So that's how I would go about creating any program. And I'm trying to think if there's anything I would add to that. I'm trying to keep it simple. I mean, I could really go off into course creation if this is something I will go off on this a little bit. But if you are like wanting to know something else, would love to know how you price. Okay, pricing, we're getting there. We're getting there. But before I forget, I already forgot, creating them. So the actual physical creation of this can be a lot simpler than we think. I mean, I know for myself, I thought I had to have a website. So I went out and made a website before I even had those products to sell. And is that necessary? No, you do not need a website. You do not need a domain name. You don't need all that extra fluff to have a product and sell it. I know people who have strictly done Facebook groups and they run an entire program through a Facebook group. I know people who, and myself included, I've sold digital or PDF. So I would create a PDF and link it to some of my videos that I would host on YouTube, and I would sell that. You could also do coaching services like this, and you can accept payments through PayPal, Stripe, Square. There's tons of online payment services that are free that you could just set up. And then, yeah, so it really doesn't have to be fancy. Like this process, like the content, the quality of what you are providing should be more important than the actual, like, here, I wrote this 75-page book for you to read, right? And I have it printed out. Like, people don't want this. They want that solution. So don't stress over what it looks like. That can come second. And oh my gosh, I'm just like about to go off, but I want to get to pricing because I know that's what you're thinking about. So how do we price this stuff? Do we just pick a number? Do we like, it's hard. Sometimes we just think like, I'm just going to pick $49 because it feels good. I picked $29. That was like my price for everything back in the day. Everything was $29. I had a $29 happiness kit, $29 goal setting guide, and then I had a monthly subscription that was $29. Like everything. Where did that number come from? No, I just made it up in my head. So you want to take a number. It is good to do a little bit of research just to see what's out there, just to get an idea. But I know personally, if I start looking at other people's numbers, I'm just going to say, yep, that sounds good. When I barely gave it any thought. And then it's hard to get that out of your mind. So that might not be the first step for you if you tend to do that, if you tend to like just lean into whatever you're seeing out there. I'm totally guilty of it. So another thing I like to do is step 2 is to value or just seeing the value of what you're providing and taking yourself out of the equation, right? Because it's so hard. Why is it so hard for us to charge somebody $100 for a product or service? But if they came to you and said, hey, Heather, or no, they don't know you. It's a stranger on the street. You run into this person and they're like, hey, do you know a good place to get some Thai food? and you're like, oh my gosh, my favorite place, it's right over there. It's the best. You gotta order the appetizer, the number 6 on the menu. It's so good. So like we have no problem raving about Thai food or whatever. And that person is about to give a restaurant money because of what you said. Like there's no guilt there. There's no shame. Do you see what I'm saying? But when we're asking someone or telling them about our product and saying, yes, it's amazing, it's really good, you should buy it, we feel so uncomfortable, and it's a matter of taking yourself out of the equation and reminding yourself of the transformation you're providing them with. It's a gift. What you're giving, the service, it's a gift you're giving to them. It's an exchange. So just like the guy who's about to go spend $100 on Thai food, and he's going to be happy because he's going to have the most amazing special number 6 on the menu, and it's going to change his life. And you're just going to go off on your merry way. And you know what? If he doesn't go there and he doesn't listen to your advice, you're like, oh, well, there's more food for me then next time I go, right? Like it's his loss, or her loss, whoever this person is. It's their loss if they don't purchase it. So you kind of have to have that same approach when you're selling a product or service. Is I am not the product or service. The transformation and what you're going to go through and the system I've created, like that is it. You have to take yourself out of it, which I know is really hard. And I've struggled with this too, but being able to show them and to tell yourself, it's not about me. It's about this transformation you're about to receive. Another thing is, so that's not really about the number you should put on it, but thinking about, if you want to think more about the number, what is it costing them not to buy your product? So I use this example a lot with weight loss. If someone's trying to lose weight, and if you have a weight loss program, it's like a 30-day weight loss program, and they're guaranteed to lose 10 pounds. I don't know. I am not a weight loss coach, but that was the offer. And you're selling it for $249. I'm just making this number up. What is it costing them not to do your program and spend the next 30 days or 60 days, whatever, trying to lose weight on their own? They're probably going to be spending money on a gym membership. Let's say it's $40 a month. They're probably going to be spending money on protein shakes. They're probably going to be spending money on special meal plans. Maybe they'll buy a cheap ebook online. Maybe they'll buy little things that are going to add up. So if you can think of what a person is spending typically, just to give you more of a perspective, and them too as well, as if they're coming to you and they think $249, that's so expensive. You can say well, let's look at it and with a new perspective. Your gym membership plus those new shoes you bought because you thought you were going to be motivated to work out, plus this, you've already spent that trying to lose weight and it hasn't worked. So why not just skip all of that? This is the shortcut. This is this proven system that's going to get you the results. And then you're actually going to be saving money because you're not going to be spending, blah, 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 blah. So that's another way to consider how much it's worth by thinking of what is it costing them not to do it. Okay. I think about that too. And I'm okay, if someone doesn't sign up for my Mom Boss program, what is it costing them? I'll tell you what, it's costing them years of their life, months and months trying to Google DIY your way through starting a business. It is going to be so exhausting mentally. You're going to be running all these ideas. You're going to hear so many different conflicting views. That's stress to me. If you can sign up for my program and have all of the questions answered and a full running business after that, it's so worth it. It's why would you choose the other way? It's going to save you so much time and money in the long run. Okay. What else about pricing? Okay. So the last thing I want to say about pricing, I might go off on a tangent, but I like to play this game. It's the high and the low, both ends of the spectrum. And I play around with the numbers. So let's say it's a 30-day weight loss program. And I said the number 249, which I'm that feels good. That you kind of have to do a gut check. Sit with it. 249. Okay, how does that feel? Feels good. All right, well, let's add $50 to it. Or maybe I should have started lower, but let's say it's a 90-day program and I started with 249. 249 feels good. Feels good. Yeah, I wouldn't feel guilty charging that. I wouldn't feel devalued. It would feel good, right? So what if we add, or what if we double it, right? And now it's $4.99. Oh, how would I feel charging that? That's a little steep. Maybe that's a little steep for you. And you're like, I can't morally charge that. Like I feel it in my conscience. I feel it in my stomach. Like I just don't feel comfortable. Then you could play the lowest low. So that's kind of like your highest high. You could like back it down a little bit. Be like, well, what about $3.89? How does that feel? You see what I'm saying? And you could do the same with your lowest low. So you could be like, okay, well, would $99 feel good? No, it feels like I'm doing way too much work and I'm not getting compensated for it. $90 is just not enough for me to like be emotionally, physically like invested in this program. So having that amount, also, I do want you to remember that if you undercharge, people are less likely to follow through. People are less likely to stay committed, and they're less likely to see results, because if they don't have any skin in the game, if they are just buying another like $39 workout guide, I mean, there's like, there's a statistic on this, but let's just say it's like 5% of people who just want to save a buck and like are really committed to following through with the $39 program. The 95% of people who just started, maybe like looked at it, maybe it's still in their inbox and they haven't even opened it yet. Like think about how many free things you signed up for that you're not listening to, you're not watching, you're not completing. So just keep that in mind. Like just because it's free or less expensive doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be something that people will stick with. Do I recommend doing market research before pricing and then decide? So Kaylee, I would say it depends on if that's going to sway you in one direction or another. It's kind of, I will say with one of my first programs, I saw the price of $89 and I was like, that's it. That's what I'm going to charge. And like I said, I personally can't do that. I just can't, like I don't even have the other products that these other people are selling. So I don't like comparing, especially in my own industry. Maybe if you were to find someone in a different industry, like if you were doing, let's say health or, fitness, and you found like a nutritionist offering a different program, but like similar, offered similar things, maybe I wouldn't look or compare yourself to anyone in your industry, just across the board for any reason. Don't do it. Okay. Brittany, I was also told if you price your services too low, people might not think you're providing enough. Yes. Okay. Story time. That we already talked about this, but I do have another story that just came to my mind. My parents were getting rid of a couch when I was like in high school, and they left it at the bottom of the driveway. And like they were just giving it away for free. I think they had a free sign on it, and no one took it. No one took it. And I don't know where I heard this or got this like download from, but I was like, Mom, you need to sell that couch for $10. And she was like, $10? Like, it's free. Like, we just want someone to take it. I'm like, nobody wants a free, dirty couch on the road. If you charge $10 for it, they're going to say, oh, that's a good deal. 1, 2, it's a couch that, like, obviously it's not terrible because it's worth $10. Like, I'm going to get that couch. So we make the sign say $10. And she left a box. Or there was like maybe it was like near a mailbox or something. The couch is gone one day and there's $10 in the mailbox. Like, this is genius. So yes, Brittany, I totally agree. People will think it's not worth anything if it's so cheap. Same thing. Like, you could see this sweatshirt if I'm wearing it. If there's 2 of me wearing the same sweatshirt, if I told you this sweatshirt, $49, how cute, it's so soft, blah, 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 $49. You're like, ooh, that's a nice sweater. If I'm like, I got this in the clearance bin for $3 at Salvation Army. Like, would you know? And then you're like, oh, like it changes your opinion, your perspective. So having a higher item does make it seem more enticing. Another thing about pricing, see, I knew that wasn't the last thing I was going to say, is that something that I've learned, and this might be like next level. So if you do have multiple products, or if you have been in the industry or like selling a product for a little bit, this will resonate more. But if you're just in the beginning stages, like don't stress about it. But I heard this other scenario about like the prices being too low, too high, whatever. I want to talk about those middle prices. Those middle prices are harder to sell. Those middle price products are harder to get people. And depending on what industry you're in, that could be like something that's between like $30 and $60. Like if you're selling a hair product and you're like, oh, this is only $10.99. This one's only $5.99. Like, and then you have like these really big packages. Like you can sell both ends, but like the middle stuff, that can be hard to sell. Another example is cars. Let's talk about car sales for a second. When you go to a car dealership, you're either looking for a really nice car or you're looking for like a cheap car, like that's just going to get you through the next 6 months. Like maybe it's for a high school kid. Maybe it's like your beater car, your commuter car. You know what I'm talking about? So it's easier for car salesmen to sell the top of the line or the beater cars. The ones in between that are like, you know, have a little like the used cars, but they're still nice, but they're, you know, a couple years old and they're like that middle price. Those are not the easiest to sell. Just saying. So you can apply that in your business with your products. I also think having different offers is great. So having that lower offer for someone who's just looking for, I don't want to use the word quick fix, but that just came to my mind, but having someone or having an offer for someone who, you know, just wants to test out, just wants to say like, okay, let me try. I'm using hair product because Jamie is on, but being able to say like, okay, let me try that shampoo, $10.99. I could do that. And then like maybe the next time around, they're going to want to order a bundle. And then the next time, like they want to start selling it. So just being able to start them with something small and then having growth come from that and having a journey for them to follow through and get to the next level. And then they complete that. And then they want to go to the next level. So having those different price offers is going to, one, bring that customer on a journey, but also if you meet someone who knows that they want the higher ticket and that the lower ticket stuff isn't for them, you have something set up. Okay, we got some questions. I feel that my industry has a large swing. I do feel like I have that price in mind and I have sat with it. It feels good. Okay. Did you have any other questions about the prices? Another question. How do you know which tools to use for your business? I'm not feeling like I find something that I can do it all. I pay for Trello. Oh, Dubsado. Oh, okay. These are like different. Trello like keeps track of all of your projects. Organizing online. This is like my weakness. Dubsado, I can't even remember. I think that's like a client management one. G Suite and Canva. I don't know what G Suite is, and I know Canva is to create little fun graphics. I love Canva. If you don't have Canva, go get it right now. It is free. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer. It makes you look like a professional graphic designer, or at least that you have one. Okay, so I don't know an app or a service that does all these things. My best tip for you would be to sit down and figure out which ones are taking up the most of your time and hiring a VA or having someone else come on to take away a few of those tasks so that you don't have to do all of the things. That's one solution. Solution number 2, dedicate one day a week towards each thing. I don't know what all of these do, but like that's how I would break it down is like, okay, well, Mondays is going to be Canva day. I'm just going to create all of my art on Monday. I'll actually write a bunch of posts. I'll get all this stuff ready in Canva. Okay, done. And then Tuesday comes and that's when you're in Trello and you're organizing your projects. Maybe you're dropping in the Canva documents. I don't really even know if you can do that. For me personally, I can't even do that. I just have to do like an hour dedicated to one thing, an hour dedicated to the next. And I think which tools to use for your business. Okay, I'm rereading the question again. Okay, so you're not feeling like you can pay for them all. So yeah, another thing is like you don't need all of these different apps. I honestly feel like I have a lot that I use, but I like them all. I'm using Asana. Lizzie set me up with Asana. It is so amazing for keeping track of your day-to-day, of your to-do list. It's free, I think, right, Lizzie? And then you can pay for like upgrades. Canva is free. Yeah, no, they're not necessary. Totally not necessary. You don't need any of that fancy stuff. However, some of them can be super helpful. So kind of figure out where your weaknesses are, and like if creating like pretty things is hard for you, definitely get Canva. It makes it so much easier. Spend like an hour figuring it out. They have so many templates. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go off on Canva again. Okay. So you kind of have to figure out which ones you can try them all out too. Try them out, see which ones you like. And then if it's worth the investment, then you can invest. I'm trying to think if that answered your question. Okay, makes perfect sense. Yeah, just need to decide what works best. And then like if you find someone who's really good at one of those things that wants to take that off your plate, that's another great thing. Okay, Kristen, on another subject, just finish what you're talking about pricing. How did you grow your following from 6K to 60 in a year? Did you use a company to help you? I did not. I am, you guys. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. I want to talk about hashtags too, because everyone's asking you about hashtags. And here's something interesting. I don't know like anything about hashtags, which to me says one thing. They're not that important. They can be helpful and useful, but when people are like, well, what do you do about hashtags? I'm like, honestly, I can't credit hashtags because I don't know if it was a combination of things. So I've never hired a company. I've heard of people doing that. I've heard of all these crazy things, and I'll tell you exactly what I did. I had a very specific niche, pregnant women. And Kristen, I'm assuming you were following me before, because like, if you were following me from like before 2017, 2016, going back in time, 2015, I was just an average girl, just like posting whatever I wanted, like, but it was always workout related or like lifestyle happiness related, but there was no target audience. So once I found my person that I was talking to, it was so easy to create content around that. That brings me to number 2, creating very valuable content, and like I had one topic, pregnancy, right? And there were so many things I could talk about within that niche. I could also this is something I was doing, and I want to keep applying in my business, and I want to tell you to apply. And I didn't really realize it until I was at Pace to Be Brave in October, but you should be taking like really streamlined top news stories, top posts, like whatever's trending, and put your twist on it. Because one, that is searchable. It's trending. People are already seeing this stuff. And now if you're hopping on that train, you're more likely to, like if you're seeing a popular hashtag that's coming up, or like the example that they talked about over the weekend was like, I don't watch The Bachelor, so I can't even tell you. I know you guys watch The Bachelor, but there was a scene about like they did like a date night and they did yoga on the beach or something. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Maybe not. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I got that information wrong. Yeah, it was a thing. So this girl, she did a whole like spin-off on that. Like the next day she talked about like yoga on the beach and like whatever benefits of it. I don't even know. But she took something that was trending with a very specific audience and turned it into her own. And you can do that with so many things. I'm trying to think. Like people were doing, I know in the fitness industry, so I had to take fitness related topics and put a pregnancy twist on it every day. So people are doing what I eat in a day. And I was like, what do I eat in a day with a pregnant belly? Like that, I just had to keep on the trends. So I was doing that. Let me get back to this question. So how I grew. So just constantly posting valuable information, because this is what I see a lot is people are like, how do I grow my audience? How do I grow my audience? But they only have 2 posts on their feed and they're not even following anyone. So the thing is, you have to have a feed full of valuable content, lots of information, lots of like interesting things for people to come and look at. So once they get to your page, they want to stay there. They want to stay. So utilizing all of your Instagram features, your IGTV, posting videos on your feed, posting, like I'm talking about those long, valuable captions, having like a step-by-step caption in there, like a couple times a week. I also started connecting with other people. Like I was really engaging in these conversations. I was talking to every person who commented. I was messaging everybody or responding to every message that I got. I still do that. I'm like, how could I not? But some people, like, once they get to a certain amount, they have someone else responding to everything for them. And would that be nice? Yes. But I also like making those connections. And if I've ever messaged you, you probably got a voice message from me, because that's like my favorite way to respond to people. So how else did I grow? It took me like from 6K to 10K, that was like 6 months. And then from there, so one hashtag, I did use hashtags, and one of them helped me. And I only know this because a large account, this girl that I've been following, she has a really big account. She probably has like 200,000 followers. She got pregnant, and someone asked her, like, how did you find pregnant workouts? And she said, I searched the hashtag fit pregnancy, and I found, and she listed off 3 girls. It was like me and then 2 other girls. So I'm like, oh my gosh, people are actually searching hashtags. But you have to remember, not everyone is sitting around searching hashtags. They're usually searching for a specific reason, like fit pregnancy or pregnancy workout. They might not be searching hashtag mom life. I mean, I use that hashtag, but still, like, I am aware that people do not search hashtag mom life. They just don't. People use it, so you have to remember that too. But the point I was getting to, once I got to 10K, then I really started noticing, I did have a couple posts go viral. I say viral because like that word is very loosely used, but basically I would get like a certain amount of views on my posts or a certain amount of views on my videos, and there was a couple that like had 30,000 views instead of 1,000, and I was like, oh, that got someone's attention. That went viral. People saw that. And I had also been told I was on a few, someone saw me on, like, a friend, my sister's friend saw me on her search page. Like, so I was showing up just because I was I was showing up on my phone. So like I was putting in a lot of work behind the scenes, basically. I was doing it all. And then I was, like I said, connecting. So the connection started. I started talking to other women who were kind of in the same sphere as me, and we were, commenting on each other's posts and sharing each other's work. We would do like shout outs for each other and exposing. We would do live videos together, and we would cross-pollinate our audiences. I partnered up with nutritionists. I partnered up with, weight loss coaches, and just other moms, other people that were doing similar things to me, but different. And then it was like a snowball effect. And then Alyssa, a different subject, I think you've told me this in the past, but how did you get disclosures and disclaimers together for your fitness programs? How do you get an LLC? So you can write your own disclosure or disclaimer. However, I wanted to have it like legally done, written for me. So I used Christy Westerfield. I'm going to type her name in right here. You can tell her that I sent you. I don't know if that'll do anything, but Christy Westerfield is an attorney, and she works for online female entrepreneurs, and she creates these disclaimers. She creates contracts, different client release forms, anything you would need. You can buy them all separately, or you could buy a bundle and just get all of the things. Yeah, she's amazing. So if you want to check her out, there's probably, there might be other ones available, but I've used Chrissy and I love her. So she gives you a template and you just like fill it out with your information. Highly recommend. How do I get an LLC? I did it online. I actually first went to SCORE. I think it's like score.org maybe. And it's a nationwide organization. They are nonprofit. They are just entrepreneurs that are kind of like an older generation who want to help out younger. They're kind of like retired entrepreneurs who want to coach and teach new entrepreneurs. So check out SCORE online. They like you go in person and meet these people. They're in every city and state. You just have to find your chapter. So I went there, and that's when they told me like, oh, you can get your LLC online. It's all LegalZoom. So I went to legalzoom.com, and maybe it's .org, LegalZoom. And yeah, you just do it online. You just give them your info. They're like, what do you want your name to be? Like, okay. And you can do an LLC or what are the other ones? Not an S Corp, but there's different options for you. That's why I went to SCORE. I was like, do I need an LLC? What should I do? And I got it, and you pay for it, and then you're good to go. And then I made, okay, wait, makes perfect sense. You're right. I probably don't need them all. Okay. All right. We're scrolling down. Yeah. Asana is free. Okay. Brittany says, I'm trying to organically grow my account and it's not going anywhere despite putting out the valuable content. A lot of people message me and say they're learning a lot from my posts, but it's hard gaining new followers or new people who just want to sign up for my one-on-one coaching. Okay, so here's another thing is that Instagram changes like so frequently, like all of the time. So even the stuff that I use to grow might not apply anymore. Like it's gonna look a little bit different. And the people with like massive accounts, and I'm thinking like 200,000, 500,000, like they did that like years ago, like over a year ago, and now they're just kind of coasting. Do you know what I'm saying? Where now if you're like, oh, I want to get 500,000, it's like, okay, well, what they did and what they're talking or what they say they did might not work anymore for you. And that's really important because I mean, and not the same thing will work for everybody. It just won't, because depending on who your audience is, what's going to create the most engagement. Like, do they want to see videos? Do they want to see lives? Like what is your audience craving and what would benefit them the most? Another thing is what I learned. I'll share these quick Instagram hacks with you. How about that? So one thing is Instagram wants users to stay on the app longer. I'm going to say it again. Instagram wants its users to stay on the app longer. So they are favoring any posts that keep the user, any engagement that keeps the user on the app longer. So that could be doing a carousel instead of just like one picture. That keeps the person on there longer because they're going to swipe through. Doing a video instead of just a picture. You could do an IGTV. Those can be like 10 minutes long. So that's going to keep someone on there longer. A longer caption. And then I'm trying to like find it in my notes. These are from Shalene. She had some like really great tips on this. Going live. Going live is also great because people are getting a notification that, oh, Lizzie's live? Who's Lizzie? I don't know. Let me just click on it. And then they end up, it's the only feature that notifies your users that you are doing something. Hello. That's why I've been going live more. I'm like, I gotta go live more. And I can think of 100 things to say because I'm full of ideas. But if you can't think, and I do recommend if you go live to have one intention, even if you're like, I'm gonna go live and do a Q&A, have something pre-planned. Like even right now, like I could have just talked to myself because that's the type of person I am. But you want to have something planned. You don't want to just be sitting there in radio silence or just like hoping someone will come on. Okay. Longer captions, having those interactions in your stories. One thing I want to say about stories is they're not going to help you grow your audience. They're meant to nurture your current audience. However, if you are creating or giving them a reason to engage with you more in there, so using the polls, doing the questions, the slide bar, putting stickers on there, they said to use one hashtag. I don't know why. Maybe it's like easier for searchable reasons, just having one hashtag in your stories. And yeah, that's going to help create more engagement on your page. Also, anytime Instagram adds something, to their app, they want you to use it. They just added something today. Did anyone else see that? What was it? Oh, snap. What did they add today? Now I'm gonna have to go back. Oh, it was in the stories. You can create a story series. So you could do like a weight loss series in your IG stories, or you could do like a pregnancy series. You could start a, online business series and have like different videos that go under that series. And people can follow that series, or I think that was the update. So always pay attention to the updates. Those are there for a reason. I'm thinking what else about growing. Honestly, like the best thing I would say is to be collaborating with other people and their audiences. That's a big thing, because Instagram, you can't rely on Instagram to put you on the explore page or to get you to the top, or to, put your post at the top and get more people. Like, you can't rely on that. But if you can connect with someone and say like, hey, I have this information I think your audience would love. I'd love for you to come talk about this, and let's work together. That's going to get you in front. Let's say they have 10,000 followers and you guys swap like that. You're going to be in front of 10,000 people that you wouldn't have been in front of, right? So cross-pollinate, collaborate, work together. And then another thing about hashtags, because Heather asked me this last week. Oh, Heather, what did I say? It was so good. Basically, hashtags. Now I lost my thought. If we come back to it, or if Heather remembers, let me know. Okay. How long do you spend on social media? A day, or like, I try to spend not as much time. I was probably spending like at least an hour a day on social media, like minimum. And that doesn't include creating the content, like taking the pictures and editing the videos and, putting text in there and writing the captions, and even like putting it all in there and saving it as a draft. Like, I would create content separately, and then the time I would spend on Instagram would be posting, doing the stories, engaging, direct messaging. Like, what else do we do? Not scrolling. Do not scroll on social media. You should be creating, this is an Angie Lee thing, but she used to say 3 times more than you consume. So think about it, for every 10 minutes you spend scrolling on social media, you should spend 30 creating. So again, if you spend 10 minutes scrolling on social media, you should spend 30 minutes creating your own stuff. You have to have 3 more times content than you're consuming, which is really hard for us all because we are so in consumption mode. But sometimes that creates, content constipation, where you're just like taking in all this information. You're looking at other people's stuff. You're like, oh, I could do that. I could do this. You're like reading books and like doing these webinars. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to make something. And you're like, I don't even know what to do. And you just don't make anything, right? So you don't want to be content constipated. It also like will force you to compare yourself to others, which you want to stay away from. All right, let's see. Okay, Jamie, I remember when you used to ask in your stories what your followers wanted more of. How did you choose your questions to pinpoint you in the right direction? Okay, so instead, Jamie, like instead of being like so open-ended, you could do something like, hey, if I were to film a video if I were to film a tutorial about how I do my hair in the morning, would that be helpful? You could just ask something like that. Or you could say, yeah, like if you are thinking, like you could write down like 5 ideas and just say, if I were to create this, would that be helpful? Yes or no? Or would you watch, if I went live and did this, would you watch? Like you could just ask questions like that. You could also do polls that are like, would you like to see more about my mom life or what I eat in a day? I mean, those could be like, I would just make sure that things are total opposites and not super similar and kind of like going in different directions. Like you wouldn't say like, do you want to see more of like my workouts or what I eat? Because those are kind of like along the same lines. Like if you really want to get a clear line in the sand, you got to say like, what do you want to know more about? Like the products that I use or how I do my hair, like that sort of thing. Those can go in different directions. Those might actually be kind of similar, but yeah. So, and you can just straight up ask them like, what are you curious about? If you could ask me anything, I like to ask this one, like if we were to FaceTime, or if I texted you right now, like, and you could text me back and ask me any question, what would you ask me? If we were to hop on a call right now and we could talk for 20 minutes, like, what would you want to know? What would we talk about? Asking stuff like that. And then IGTV series is, yes, a great idea. Okay, Heather reminded me, hashtags are good for us to search and then engage with the people who are using the hashtag. So yeah, I told this to Heather last week. I did it in a voice message and it went away. I should have saved it. But yeah, when it comes to hashtags, like I said, obviously people can find you through them, but you really want to make sure, I didn't start saying this, but you want to be able to get your post to the top of that page if they're searching, so they can search the most recently used hashtags. So if you're using it like frequently, not every day, because Instagram doesn't like that and they could shadow ban you, which means they just, even if you use the hashtag, you won't show up because they're mad at you. But if you're using it like every couple days, every couple posts, whatever, you'll show up in the recents, but then there's a top, like you can search the top hashtags, which are going to have the most engagement. So you can, like I said, search the ones that you think your audience is using, check out the posts, engage with the people who are posting with that hashtag, engage with the people in the comments of the posts. That's a tip I like to use. And yeah, it's just a lot of things. There's a lot of things you can do for like short-term growth, and then there's things that you got to be doing every day for like the long term, which is creating those connections and creating that valuable content and the day-to-day stuff that a lot of people kind of skip out on. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm trying to think. Let me look really quick. Also, so this is just like, I should have done a disclaimer at the beginning, because I call this a mock mastermind, when in reality, my mock mastermind would be you not hiding, not that you're hiding, but you would be on camera and you would just straight out talk to me, tell me your story, where you're at, what's going on, and I would give you direct feedback. And we didn't do that at all. So I apologize. I just answered. It was like a Q&A. So I want you to know that it's pretty different than how I would run a mastermind, other than the similarities are that like I'm still providing you useful, valuable information that you can take away and apply right now, right? I'm giving you action steps. I've told you things to do, websites to go to, Instagram growth hacks, how to price your products, exercises to do, those sorts of things. So I do that in my mastermind. However, it's not just me talking straight for 51 minutes. You would get to talk to. So if you have any other questions for me, let me just check real quick. I'm looking over. I want just look at stuff when I ask, like, what do you want to know more about? People still message me and say like weight loss and pregnancy workouts. Like, sorry, not tonight. Okay. And certifications. A couple of people wrote about certifications. So one thing about certifications is that they're not needed to get started. You don't need a certification to tell your story. You don't need a certification to share what has worked for you, share what you're doing, and to help other people. Eventually, having a certification is highly recommended, especially if you're in the health field. Yes, I highly recommend it. But not necessary to start, because I hate seeing people who are like, well, I'm going to wait till I get my certification, and then I'm going to make an Instagram account, and then I'm going to make 5 new workouts. Like, no, that's totally reverse. You need to start by making it and growing your Instagram, like doing those things first before you get certified, I would say. And then you can bring your audience through that journey. You can bring your audience and you can show them like, hey, this is my passion. I want to be a health and wellness coach, and I'm getting a certification. Here's what I learned today in my class. Did you know that 97% of people hate asparagus? I don't know, whatever. You could share the interesting facts that you learn with them. All right, let's see what else people said. You have me. Oh, wait. Do you plan out how long each client takes so that you know how to not get burned out? Do you mean like on one example? I build websites. Oh, yes, you do. But depending on the type or their need, it's hard to judge how long the project will take. This is hard to plan out and how many people I can take on per month. Okay, so Kaylee, am I saying your name right? I apologize if I'm not. I think I know you have some clients right now, and I think it's gonna be a matter of feeling it out and getting into a flow. But then also, just because I was doing graphic design work before. So bye, Jamie. Thanks for hopping on. Good night, little man. She's putting her son to bed. Working in graphic design, I know that there are certain ways you can kind of build a retainer and say, this is the initial down payment. In 2 weeks, you'll receive, your 3 logo designs plus an example media kit or whatever. And then you'll get 2 revisions, and then you'll get a final, you have to carve out all of the details of what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, what it's going to look like, what they can expect, and have that timeline in place for yourself and for them, and letting them know, like, you can't do an edit like every day, just like a quick small, like you can't be doing those. So anyone in the design field, I'm trying to think of who else, like you kind of have to set limits around that stuff. Okay. Yeah, daily Kaylee. All right. So I think you'll get a hang of it and you'll find your new flow. All right, this has been so awesome. I did record this entire thing, so I can send it to you. You'll probably get it in your inbox in the morning. Does anyone else, I can unmute everybody and you can all say hi. We probably should have done this, man. Let's see. I can hear Okay, wait, I'll take it back. If anyone has something to say, you can unmute yourself. Oh, wait, hold on. Otherwise, I'm going to sign off here. And again, this will be available for you to rewatch, and I will talk to you soon. Oh, I totally forgot. The other thing I was going to say is that my mastermind applications close on Friday. So if you are all interested in getting this type of feedback on a regular basis, make sure you fill out the application. If you have any questions, you can always message me. All right, I will talk to you soon. Bye.